Everyone, my feed clearly got cut. We got bad weather here, and I think that we'll try this one more time, see if we can get everyone to get back in the chat and talk about this whole CIA Tucker Carlson thing. So we got crazy things happening right now. I think we're starting to see a element of McCarthyism coming back. If you guys don't know what McCarthyism is essentially this guy, Joseph McCarthy, is a senator. He's pushed the anti-communist propaganda on people, right? So he was basically calling everyone a communist and then going after them to get them to shut up about what was happening between them and Russia, right? This was a kind of a big deal. It lasted for a couple of years. It was really intense. It ruined a lot of people's lives. They went after people in the media. They went after people in Hollywood. I mean, it was kind of a big deal. They went after people in Congress. I mean, McCarthyism was a big thing, you know, and I think we're kind of running back to that. So I think a lot of this, what's happening with this Tucker Carlson situation right now is your president is using the CIA to shut down or quash dissent about this war thing. So there's a big dynamic going on between what happens online and what happens in the real world, right? So if you go online right now, especially on places like X, you'll realize that everybody seems to be like they're for this war. They seem like they're for President Trump's plan to go to Iran. We're going to go over there and bomb Iran, right? It's a really popular thing right now, and everyone's, you know, basically kissing Trump's ass on everything that he does as it pertains to this war. They're talking about how oil's not gonna be $100 a barrel. They're talking about how, you know, the economy is doing great, everything's affordable, everything in this country is doing amazing. But this war in Iran is the key to unlocking all the amazingness that America could possibly be. If we just get this war overdone in Iran, then again, everything's going to be great here. You know, home prices are going to come down. The illegals are just going to leave. You know, the border's going to be secure. Tariffs are going to become 100%. You know, it's going to be awesome, right? None of that's going to happen, guys. So the amount of propaganda that we have going on today in X is just insane. Like, I cannot even begin to tell you guys how ridiculous the propaganda is right now, especially on X. So what I want to talk about today is I want to talk about why is the CIA going after Tucker Carlson, but they just don't seem to have any information on this Jeffrey Epstein guy. We got all these files released. We got all this information basically tying a bunch of threads together about Jeffrey Epstein, about Mossad, about the CIA, about the FBI, and potentially about our president, Donald Trump. We got all these dots that paint a pretty clear picture of what's going on in this particular situation as it pertains to Epstein, right? Epstein's clearly a honeypot / blackmail operation. And the problem is that nobody wants to go after anybody that's in these files. No one wants to go ask these people any more questions. No one wants to reopen any of these investigations. But the CIA has all the time in the world to go after Tucker Carlson, right? So Tucker Carlson went on television, what was it, yesterday, I think? And he basically said, like, hey, you know what? There's this the CIA operation that's going to basically refer me to the Department of Justice, right? They're going to refer me to the Department of Justice because apparently I talked to officials over in Iran, and this is not good, right? Apparently they don't think this is legal, and they're going to come after me for it. What this is a smear campaign, right? This is a situation where they're trying to take this guy who's very well respected in the world as a journalist, right? That's the thing I don't think people understand about Tucker Carlson. Tucker Carlson isn't just someone that talks on television. The guy's a legit journalist, right? And here in America, we don't go after journalists, right? If you guys will remember, if there was this guy over in, was it Saudi Arabia, if I remember correctly? And I forget his name off the top of my head, but he was a journalist too, and he was saying things that was not good about the king prince over there, and they cut him up with a bone saw. You guys remember all the stories? They cut him up, and they took him out of that hotel in pieces, and no one knows what happened to this guy. And I forget his name off the top of my head. Someone I'm sure will put it in the chat. But we're running into a situation where if the propaganda in America keeps going the way that it is, you're going to have people fighting with people. You're going to have people in the real world punching people out, thinking that people are communists, right? Thinking that people are traitors to their country, just like we had during the McCarthy period, right? So you're running into a situation where if you guys believe what's happening on X right now, and you don't go down the street and talk to your neighbor, you're going to think that America supports this war. And maybe I'm in a bubble, guys, but I live in Missouri. It's a pretty red state. I don't know anyone that's for this war. I don't know anyone that is for this conflict. And it seems to me like Trump is utilizing social media, and he's utilizing the CIA, potentially the FBI, just like during the Epstein situation, to curb the speaking of the people in this country, the people that actually interview people in the real world, the people that talk to people in the real world. He wants to control their speech, and he's going to do it through coercion, right? Coercion's a great thing if you're the federal government, right? None of us, I can't coerce you guys to do what I want you to do, but the federal government can coerce you guys to do pretty much anything, especially, we all know the IRS, right? The IRS can put liens on your home. The IRS can threaten you with letters. The Department of Labor can come in and threaten you with your business practices. The FBI could come question you. The Secret Service can come question you if you say anything bad about the president that could potentially be threatening. I mean, our government is starting to go around and do some of this stuff. And Tucker Carlson is the most high-profile person that you could possibly have in this situation. Now, let me go through the people that we have on social media that are pushing this war, right? They're pushing the propaganda, that are pushing this illusion that America supports this war. Because the truth is that we'll see in the comments, if you guys support this war, put it in the comments. Let us know that you support it. If you don't support us, let us know that you support it. Me as a business owner, it's very risky for me to put any of my ideas out on the internet. To say that I'm for or against anything is very, very, could be very bad for your business if enough people see it, So I don't worry about that kind of stuff. It's not really been an issue with my customers. So that's one reason I'm on here talking to you guys about this kind of stuff. So here's some of the people that again, let's just go through them. Okay, so this guy, Ben Shapiro, right? Everyone knows Ben Shapiro. I think he's been real popular, super popular in COVID, built up his network, the Daily Wire, into a massive business, if I'm not mistaken. He didn't like what was going on in COVID, and he moved his operations out to Tennessee. He personally lives in Florida, along with all the other people that are leaving these blue states and those COVID areas, the lockdown states. They all went down to Miami, Florida, and I can talk about that because I ship furniture to the top 1%. I ship furniture all over the country. I used to ship tons of it up to New York. Now it's all going to Florida. All the people with money in New York have left. They are all going down to Florida. So take that information what you will. But Ben Shapiro is one of these people. He was literally a never Trumper. He was one of these guys that did not vote for Trump, did not want Trump to be in office. And then now that he's going over there and fighting Israel's war, boy, Ben Shapiro loves this guy. Ben Shapiro can't wait to get on his knees and suck Trump's dick, for what he's done for Israel. And it's too bad. It's too bad to see what's happened to this guy because we can clearly see the guy is a one-issue, not only a one-issue voter, but he's a one-issue person, right? He's a one-issue man. He's a one-issue father. He's a one-issue everything. His entire purpose for being in media is to push the Israel first agenda. And unfortunately, it's to all of our detriment. This guy, Mark Levin. Mark Levin is an old a newscaster on Fox News. He used to have a radio show. I used to listen to this guy, and he literally was a never Trumper as well. Like, never wanted Trump to be in office, thought Trump was a thug, thought Trump was an idiot, right, an imbecile. Just did not have anything nice to say about this guy. But again, now he's over there blowing Trump. Thinks Trump's the most amazing president. He's so happy with Trump's doing because, again, this guy doesn't care about America. None of these people care about this country. All they care about is using America as a tool to help the state of Israel in their greater Israel project. And again, I'm not afraid to say this kind of stuff. Like, it's patently obvious what's happening. And if you guys don't want to admit this, and people don't want to at least entertain the idea that we are a tool for the state of Israel, then you guys need to wake up, So go do a little more research, go look at a few more media sources, and at least entertain the idea that what we're doing over there is not in America's interest, right? So other people, you got this Benny Johnson guy. Benny Johnson has always been kind of a cuck for Trump, but he's gone off the rails. Like, again, Trump can do no wrong. He's one of these guys that when Trump crashes the energy market, he's like, oh, God, it's going to be so much better after we deal with Israel, right? After we go over there and completely destabilize the Middle East, oil prices are going to go down. We're never going to have it so good here in America. The cost of everything's going to come down. Houses are going to come down. Manna's going to fall from the sky. Jesus is going to come down and bless everyone. It's going to be amazing. It's not happening. I'm here to tell you guys this. If you guys look at the cost of energy, oil was like in the 60s before we started this conflict. I think today it's going to open up over $100 a barrel. And for what? A needless war. We did not need to go over there. And again, if things were going to be better for America, I would be all for this conflict. I would be like, go over and get those people, destabilize the Middle East. Let's take American might over there, and let's just turn it into America 2.0. It's going to be better for everyone. But like I said in my last stream, okay, how would you guys like it if Eric Wilkin, came into your home and said, you know what? You ain't getting it done, American citizen. You need to do better. And you know what? You're going to do it my way. You're going to come work for my business because guess what? I came from nothing. Now I got a business. I got money. I got everything I need. I don't need to work. You're going to do it my way because I'm better than you. Like, how would you guys like that? You wouldn't like it. It wouldn't work, but that's exactly what we're doing with a lot of these other countries, especially this Iran situation. I mean, what do you think they did in Venezuela? You think they went down there and snatched that Maduro guy because they were just mad at him and he's a terrible guy? No, they wouldn't snatch it because Venezuela has the largest known oil reserves in the world. What do you think Iran is? You think Iran, is in tech? Do you think Iran makes T-shirts and we got to secure that T-shirt supply? No, they got oil, and this is what Trump's ultimate plan is essentially energy dominance. He wants to secure the energy supply for the world, right? Which may end up being a good thing. I'm not saying that it won't be, but I will get to Trump's big plan here in just a second. But let's keep going through these guys in the social media that are basically cucking for the administration and completely forgetting what Donald Trump ran on, completely forgetting what the average citizen in America is dealing with. They're completely forgetting, about the high cost of energy, the high cost of housing, jobs don't pay dick, right? The illegals and everyone are all still here. Tariffs aren't working, and Trump is just failing everywhere. And so he's trying to distract from things like the Epstein files to go and start this conflict in Iran for this little country of 10 million people that no one in America is ever going to go to. You guys couldn't even find Israel on a map, right? But we're going to send our entire Navy over there, spend $2-3 billion a day, spend hundreds of billion dollars firing off rockets and fighting this country who, unfortunately, guys, I hate to tell you this country isn't going to submit. Like, this is not a country that you can conquer with air power, right? So eventually we're going to have to put boots on the ground there. And again, Trump thinks that doing this is going to cement his legacy as securing the Middle East, making the Middle East stable. He thinks it's going to get his name up there with George Washington and Abraham Lincoln and Theodore Roosevelt, and he's going to be on Mount Rushmore. I tell you guys, it ain't going to work. Like, we're all going to pay the price, and all of the problems that are affecting us every day are not being worked on right now. And I can go over why that is if you guys want. Put in the comments. Let me go through a few more names, guys, and we'll dip into comments, and we'll see if we can get this in. If you guys are in the stream, hit the like button. It helps really help to kick the algorithm around. I always tell people this. And again, I think at this point, everyone knows who I am. I'm not going to go through it, but I'm just a normie dude. I run a business with 9 employees. We do a small 7 figures. We move about 500 pieces of furniture a year right here in St. Louis, Missouri, where we make it all. It's a great business. Okay, so other people. This Gunther Eagleman, I never heard of this guy. He's on X right now, pushing all of this propaganda for the government. I believe these guys are paid, guys. Like, I've never seen the same group of people put out the same exact content ever since I've been on X. It's never happened, but they're all pushing the same exact stuff at the exact same time. It's like, remember, guys, the media when they were the Republicans were talking about what that Joe Biden was losing his mind, he's crazy, and he's becoming senile, and he's got Alzheimer's and all this kind of stuff. And then they came out with it. No, Biden's sharp as a tack, sharp as a tack. Sharp as a tack, sharp as a tack. It's the same echo chamber bullshit that you're getting on X right now. It's the same bullshit on Fox News. Nobody is thinking for themselves. They're all just regurgitating what they've been told to regurgitate, right? This Gunther Eagleman came out of nowhere. I don't know who the fuck this guy is, but yet he's in this paid group of shills. And like, I literally had to block these people because I'm just tired of seeing the same exact content. If you go with what's on X right now, you think there's basically 12 people on there, which there's millions of people on there, but 12 people's content are pushed through the algorithm to help support this war. Elon Musk bought Twitter exactly because he did not want to see this kind of thing happening. Twitter was essentially a left-leaning propaganda platform, right? Elon bought it to help Donald Trump because he thought that the First Amendment and free speech was dying, which it was. Go watch the interview with Tim Pool, Vijay Gadde, and Jack Dorsey on Joe Rogan talking about this particular issue. Elon bought it specifically to make it a free speech platform. Now it's become Twitter for the right. And it's wildly frustrating as someone, again, who's lived long enough to see what's happened with all this kind of stuff. So, okay, we got this other guy, Cat Turd, right? Like, who the fuck is this guy? What's this, some old man that lives in Florida and just likes to talk shit and suck Trump's dick? Like, it's really weird. But this guy's content is pushed to me all the time. Like, I don't even subscribe to this guy, but he's part of this group of people who are just pushing this I wouldn't say it's not Republican. It's more like war propaganda. Again, he's the guy that's saying, "Oh my God, after we go to Iran, oil is going to be down to $1.85. Like, it's going to be like the 2000s when gas was $1.50. Like, this guy actually is pushing this shit, and none of it happens. And then everyone goes on there and blasts the guy, because where's the cheap gas prices? Oh, I thought you said the oil was coming down this week, And this is what these guys do, and they don't respond to anything other than what the administration is telling them to post. And again, it's like 12 people posting the exact same thing, guys. Please be aware of what is going on because it's disgusting. We're better than this, guys. Okay, this other guy I wrote down here, we got this Laura Loomer chick. Have you seen this chick? Looks like it literally looks like someone like a bee stung her in the face. Her face is like all puffed out and apparently she's never met an Israeli issue that she doesn't support. Like, again, doesn't care about the cost of housing, doesn't care about the cost of insurance, doesn't care about the cost of gas, doesn't care about all the illegal immigrants that are here in America, but goddamn, does she like Israel. Holy shit, this woman is just all about that thing. Sean Hannity, what a sellout. I mean, I followed this guy for 20 years probably on Fox News. And again, this guy, complete neocon war hawk, loves Trump, sniffs Trump's asshole every day, and just talks about how great he is and how good he's doing. And, oh my God, save Israel! And it's really wild, guys. Again, how does this help anyone in America? Is going in over and conquering Iran, is that going to help you guys with the cost of oil? I hate to tell you guys, you know what the cost of oil was prior to this conflict? It was trading in the 60s. You know, now we're up in the hundreds, right? What was the stock market doing before this? Okay, stock market was doing, it was doing okay, you know, but again, now we got major stock, so we got stock market issues. Trump's always talking, oh, we got the 401k, everyone's 401ks are winning, all right? You don't hear Trump saying jack shit about that right now, do you? Good, because Trump only talks about the good stuff, and we don't hire presidents to talk about the good stuff. Like, the job of a leader is to go be honest with people, look at the problems, and then go fix them. It's not to create new problems and then claim you fixed them. I mean, Trump is literally going out there demanding that Europe come over and help their vessels come through the Straits of Hormuz. Like, motherfucker, there was no problem before we got there. 30 to 50 vessels were going through the strait every day. The problems didn't start till we showed up. You know, so again, if we're going to fix everything, this is going to make Europe better, this is going to make China better, this is going to make South America better, this is going to make America better. Like, I'm all for it. But I don't see any of that happening, guys. Like, I don't see any of that happening. Trump is literally creating problems so that he can fix them and say that he fixed a problem. Like, this is the definition of narcissism, of megalomania, of fucking insanity, guys. So anyway, we're down to Sean Hannity. I got Mike Huckabee on here. I got Lindsey Graham on here. And if you guys notice, the entire Democrat Party is silent. Have you guys heard anything from the Democrats? Remember how the Democrats were literally trying to impeach Trump every day? They were trying to put him in jail. They were creating new laws in the state of New York to convict this guy of sex crimes. Like, they were just gun-ho, balls to the wall for this guy. And suddenly they vanished. Like, there is no opposition to this guy because they all support the state of Israel, because they're paid by AIPAC. Largest donor to the AIPAC foundation is the guy that created OnlyFans, okay? This is what this country has come down to, right? It's insane, guys, what's happened. So we got those people. Mike Huckabee is supposed to be an advocate for America in the state of Israel. It does not work that way. He is literally an advocate for Israel, and he is literally pushing our president to support everything Israel does. That is not how ambassadorships work. This guy is disgusting. Lindsey Graham needs to be kicked out of his ambassadorship. Congress needs to drag this guy by his hair and pull him out of there, because he is not advocating for America. He's advocating for war. He's advocating for your kids to go fight a war for another country, right? When you see a soldier come back and he's died and his flag draped coffin, do you think that guy really felt good about going over and fighting in Iran? Do you think he really felt like he was helping his country? Did his country send him over there to do something that was a net benefit for his country and was going to help future generations? Did he help secure America's anything? I don't think they do. I don't think that's what these people are fighting for. And man, I really feel bad for anyone that has to go over there right now, because again, as someone who wanted to go fight after 9/11, who tried to go fight in the war, they wouldn't let me. I couldn't duck walk. I literally was I went through, I got my MOS. I was going to be a light wheel mechanic. I was going to go do PT. It was going to be amazing. I couldn't duck walk. They kicked me out of MEPS, and that was the end of my military career. But these people that go serve because they think they're going to help America, they're going to think they're going to help their countrymen, they think they're going to make the world safer for Americans, they're being lied to and they're dying for nothing. And again, I think we got like 10 people have died. It's not like it's this massive number, but again, it's too many, right? For a conflict that most Americans don't think we should be in, So anyway, let's go into comments real quick. I want to say hi to everyone this morning. Then we're going to dig into the people that are opposing this, right? People like Candace Owen, Tucker Carlson, Megyn Kelly, Owen Schroyer. And then I'm looking in Congress, right? People like Thomas Massey, people like Marjorie Taylor Greene, Ro Khanna, these guys that are anti-war. It's like David versus Goliath here, right? It's like Iran versus America is a David Goliath story. The people that do not support this war here in America, that are publicly against it, are like David Goliath versus the people that do want to support this war, the people that are paid to support this war. Again, put in the comments, guys, if you support this thing, I want to know. Let's bat it around and tell me why you support it. If you're against it, tell us why you're against it. And again, let's get the conversation rocking on this thing. We got a bunch of people in here. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. And this is an important topic, guys. We need to end this conflict. Like, I'm sorry, guys. I'm one of these guys that, like I said, we got illegals we need to kick out. We got terrorists we got to ramp up. We got to get the lower class people working in this country again. We got to teach these guys how to do some shit instead of letting them all hang out on welfare. We got a lot of problems to fix in this country, guys. Tax cuts are great, but tax cuts suck when inflation keeps growing up. Tax cuts mean nothing when the cost of everything is through the roof, So we got a lot of things we need to work on. So we got to get back here home. Okay. Look at all these comments. Thanks, guys, for being here this morning. I appreciate it. I hope you guys have a good week today. Mondays always kind of suck, but whatever. All right, Smith Moon's Legal Propaganda. This is user TTB. Good to see you, dude. Glad you're here. Suli85. Jamal Khashoggi. Yeah, that was that guy's name, man. Jamal Khashoggi was I believe it was a Turkish. He was a Turkish journalist, but he also had American citizenship, if I'm not mistaken. And again, because we have this weird relationship with this monarchy in Saudi Arabia, they were allowed to go in this guy's room and cut this dude up and basically disappear him. And it's very well documented. And there were, if I'm not mistaken, 0 repercussions for this happening, which is kind of interesting, right? You would think that a little tiny country like Saudi Arabia, you know, who is, again, America could decimate in a day, had nothing to say about them cutting this guy up and disappearing him, right? Nothing was paid to his family. There wasn't even an acknowledgement this happened, if I remember correctly. Because this is the problem with power, guys. Power gets away with things that you and I could never get away with. This is one of the reasons Trump is terrified of the Epstein files, because, again, it paints a picture of this honeypot blackmail operation, a group of people, whether it's celebrities, whether it's dignitaries, royalty, whoever it is, it paints a picture of these people getting to live in a world above our own, kind of like fucking Elysium, if you guys have ever seen this movie. They're not subject to the same rules. They get away with doing things that you and I would never get away with. Their reputations are not tarnished. And again, they all agree that all this is okay. And they call us goy, right? This is the thing that you see in these Epstein files. Jeffrey Epstein uses the word goy, and I'm not into all this shit, but from what I understand, it basically just means slave, right? It basically means that you're essentially just a serf. You're a little worker bee, and you're meant to serve the whatever the upper, I don't know what's above goy. I don't know all this shit. Like I said, I'm a woodworker, guys. I'm a furniture maker. I'm a business owner. I don't study all this shit. You got to go listen to whatever Owen Schroyer or one of these guys talk about this kind of stuff to really understand what this means. But anyway, let's say hi to people. Continue. Texas or Busman back in here. Good to see you, dude. Texas or Busman here for a while. I appreciate all the people that come in and talk and come back in and share their ideas and get a report. It's nice to get to kind of know people and see what it is that they do. So, all right, Femto999 Shill, yeah, maybe. Sun saying something on what you're saying, dude. Sandy White 6192, you're completely out of your mind. Okay, well, Sandy, let me know where I'm wrong. So let me know what I'm missing, and let's bat it around. Because again, I'm one of these guys, like, I'm willing to be changed on anything. Like, I'm an America first guy. America's the greatest country that's ever existed, and we can go destroy anybody. Like, I'm one of these guys that thinks that America could literally be Rome. Like, we could just conquer the entire world, and everyone could just pay us tribute, and we could all live like kings here. I am one of these guys, but I'm also one of these people that believes that it is not our responsibility to go kick in the door of another country and say, you know what, you guys are going to live the way we want you to live because we're America. I don't like that either. So, okay, Son says, say what he's getting wrong, make a real comment. Yeah, make your argument. Okay, what's going on? All right, this is Latin and LeBron, I guess. I'm not sure what that first word is, but we're talking about Epstein, we're talking about Tucker, we're talking about why America's over in Iran, we're talking about all kinds of things today. We're talking about the propaganda that's happening on the internet right now, we're talking about the propaganda that's happening in cable news right now, and we're talking about real world, right? Do you guys know anyone that supports this war? I don't know a single person, right? And again, put in the comments, you know, knows who you guys are, put it in your comments, and let's bat it around. All right, Bell2828, the average person doesn't have time to care about politics because family is first. That's a great point. Bale, I agree with you 100%. I think this is one of the things that is really messed up about what we're doing over in Iran today, because the American person that voted for Donald Trump, again, Trump won everything, guys. Like, say what you will about the guy. You can call him a loser, you can call him an idiot, you can say whatever you want. He won the popular vote. This never happens. That hadn't happened since Reagan. The guy won all the swing states, okay? This never happens for Republicans. Hadn't happened since Reagan. So say what you will about Trump. Trump won, which meant that the American people believed in his message. And what was Trump's message, right? Trump's big platform was closing the border. That was the big thing, right? Trump said he was going to close the border. He's going to mass deportate people. This is very important that you guys understand this. He didn't say he was going to, kick out a few people. He said he was going to mass deport, kick people out of this country, help the American worker get their wage up, help the American worker be prioritized over the illegal immigrant, right? He ran on this platform. He ran on tariffs. He was going to tariff the hell out of the rest of the world. I'm going to tariff the hell out of the rest of the world. Okay, Trump's saying this stuff. He said he was going to do it. He hasn't done it, okay? He said that he was going to cut taxes. He's going to, no tax on tips, right? This was this big thing. No tax on tips, no tax on overtime, right? That passed. He also got $180 billion to deport people in that one big, beautiful bill also, by the way. So another reason he needs to start mass deportating people. Trump was supposed to work on housing. I'm going to get housing prices down. I'm going to cut energy in half. Do you guys remember this? Which means you have to do something on the supply side, right? Unless you're going to control the price of energy, you better fucking make some power stations. Like, Trump hasn't done that either, right? So what you're saying, Bell, makes perfect sense. People got their own stuff to work on here in America. The cost of everything's through the roof. Very hard to have kids. I mean, again, our birth rate is wildly low. Yesterday, I talked about the birth rates from the baby boomers to what we have right now. We're not having enough kids to replace ourselves because people can't afford it. Nobody wants to have kids living in an apartment, you know? And again, a lot of people do it anyway, but their idea is to get into a home. And when the average price for a home is like $450,000 a year, interest rates are damn near 7%. Who can afford a home? Trump was supposed to work on these things. Trump is a real estate guy. Trump is a construction guy. Trump is supposed to know this stuff. And again, he's not working on it. And so the American people should be very frustrated with what Trump is doing. And again, it's very easy to go to war. Everyone gets behind war. Oh, God, support your country. Otherwise, you're anti-American. Oh, my God, support your country. Otherwise, you hate your country. You know, this kind of rhetoric is not helpful. It's absolutely disgusting. And again, now that we're seeing that the CIA is going after is going after Tucker Carlson, but the CIA can't seem to find anything about this Epstein. The CIA can't seem to find anything about this honeypot blackmail operation that's going on. It's like, oh yeah, we're going to get into this. So Bell, I like your comment, and I agree with you 100%. I feel your pain. It's again, we're focused on all the wrong things in this country, and right now we're using X to try and give everyone the illusion that, you know, America supports this war. We do not. So I got my Pete's coffee this morning. Do people still drink coffee? Is that a thing? Like, am I just like getting old? Like, no, does anyone drink coffee to work? I hear a lot of people like to drink tea, you know, which I can't figure that out. My wife's Indian, right? They love tea in her country. Everyone, when they come to our house, they all drink tea with milk, and we got to make it with these little tiny little pot things that we put. It's really weird. And then they got the strainer and all that. It's a very different setup. So, all right. Janine Borders, 1398. It's going baby drill. Oh, wait and see. Okay, and again, this is where Trump has actually succeeded, right? So Trump has helped out on the energy front, which why I don't understand this whole Iran conflict, right? So energy was trading about $60 a barrel. Oil was trading about $60 a barrel prior to this Iran conflict. He was deregulating. He's talking about going into Anwar. He, I believe, signed the deal for the first gas refinery that we've had in a long time, right? Oil refinery that we've had in a long time. Like, these are good things. The guys talked about letting these AI and data, what are they called? AI companies build their own power stations, which is good. But like, hey, motherfucker, what about us? Like, energy's been going up for 5 years now. Where's our power stations, right? So I live out on the Mississippi here, right? And we watch the barges go up and down the river all day, every day, and they're running coal, okay? Where's the coal power stations? Where's the natural gas power stations? Where are the nuclear power stations to get the price of energy down for Americans? But again, Trump doesn't give a shit about the average American. It's not important to him, right? You guys notice that like all the tech people are in Trump's ear, and they all got no problems getting energy for their businesses, right? They got no problems getting tax cuts for their business. They got no problems getting data centers put in every city in America. They got no problems. But you can't get the price of a steak down. You can't get the price of gas down anymore. You can't get the price of electricity down anymore. You can't get the price of natural gas down anymore. And you can't get the price of housing down because God forbid that the cost of houses come down, right? Trump, one of the most like nauseating things that this guy has ever said is he was in an interview it was probably a month ago, and they were asking him like what he's going to do to get the price of housing down, right? And Trump says, well, I don't want to get the house of pricing down, or I don't want to get the cost of housing down, right? Because his voter base is the boomers, right? His voter base is a lot of these old people that own multiple homes that have seen their home values double in 5 years, right? This is not a natural market, guys. Nothing should double in 5 years, right? Especially housing. It's something that everybody needs. When the cost of houses go up 100% in 5 years, you got major problems. You need to correct that right fucking now. Trump doesn't want to do it, right? So this idea that housing is going to get put back online is crazy. He just signed an executive order, another executive order. Congress has passed exactly 4 bills for Donald Trump, okay? Trump can't get anything through Congress. Everything this guy does is going to get washed out by the next president if it's a Democrat. Everything. Nothing is going to get codified, guys, and this is a major problem. Congress needs to start doing its job, right? So Trump passes this bill, reducing red tape, reducing things like land impact studies, reducing all this, basically this woke bullshit that was going on prior to COVID for people that want to build homes, for developers, you know, Pulte, D.R. Horton, Lennar, all these guys that want to make homes in America for people to buy. He is supposedly reducing the red tape for that, but I'm here to tell you guys that it doesn't matter. It takes years to build up the number of homes we have here in America. Trump was supposed to bring the cost of housing down by kicking out all the illegal immigrants. You want to increase the number of homes on the market? Kick out 10 million people. Guess what? It's easy to do. people don't like it, right? We have suicidal empathy here in this country. We got a lot of virtuous people in this country. A lot of people that make too much money and think that, you know, illegals are great for them. They love their gardener, they love their nanny, right? They love their steaks being cheap because Tyson, you know, has illegal immigrants working all the meat process. But they don't want a butcher getting paid $30 an hour, you know, to cut meat. They want, you know, Chang and Dim to come in from Vietnam to make $7.50 an hour, whatever the minimum wage is. Like, Trump was supposed to fix a lot of this stuff. And again, it all starts with kicking out illegal immigrants, right? It starts with closing the border. It starts with tariffs and allowing the third world to go fuck themselves and not produce everything in America so that rich people can get richer and then not have to hire you guys. You know, it's really twisted, really messed up. And I'm not going to go in on. I talk about that kind of stuff all the time. You guys don't want to hear that. But yeah, we are drilling. We are securing the energy supply. I mean, if you want to find a good thing about going over there and conquering Iran, I mean, maybe it will help the Middle East to control energy and to get the flow of energy better around the world. I don't know, but it doesn't seem like we need it. Again, how many times have I told you guys this? We import. What do we import? We import 7 million barrels of oil a day, okay? Hear me out on this. Give me some rope here, okay? America uses 20 million barrels of oil a day, right? That's what our economy runs on. That's what everyone economies run on, right? But we use 20 million barrels a day. Well, we produce 13 million of it on our own, right? And again, the number keeps going up, okay? We're producing more and more energy because America is such a massive continent, right? Well, where does the other 7 million barrels of oil come from to help run America every day? 50% of that oil comes from Canada. Right? It comes from Canada. It's not coming from the Middle East. Another 10% comes from Mexico, right? It's not coming from the Middle East, okay? We get 6.5% of our energy from the Middle East, okay? So why we're over there makes no sense. And again, we're getting more energy every day from Canada and from South America. We don't need the Middle East anymore. The Middle East is irrelevant. And when you look at the makeup of Congress, it's made up of geriatric people that think Russia is still the biggest enemy in the world. You know, they think that, you know, Russia's trying to put rockets or missiles in Cuba. I mean, these guys still think that, again, it's 1979 and we got these crazy oil shortages if we don't secure the Middle East. None of that exists today, guys. It's called chasing ghosts. We got to get young blood back into Congress. So anyway, I love your comment, though. I appreciate it. Okay, the lamp's like, let's see your hat. Yeah, and again, I got to do this like, I try to do that for you. That's funny. Yeah, everyone always says it looks like a hat. Again, I love Christmas. I love Christmas time. I love the nostalgia of it. That's why I got the leg lamp. So, all right, regurgitation station. Okay, interesting comment there, Heather Black. Again, if we got any women in here, I really appreciate the women show up. My business is furniture, ladies, and my furniture we are known for our high gloss lacquer coating, right? When you think of high gloss lacquer coatings, people think of the Resplendent Crow. It's like when you think of bath tissue, you think of Kleenex, right? We're the name brand when it comes to high gloss lacquer coating. You can see your face in the finish, all the beautiful colors. That's my business, right? So that's why I don't have to make my money on YouTube as a content creator, okay? So ladies, go check out the Resplendent Crow, buy some furniture. All right, let's see. Sean edits his American people can vote themselves into their own demise. Well, we're kind of doing that, man. And again, I don't think it matters who you guys vote for. Do you guys think it matters who you vote for? Whether you vote Democrat, whether you vote Republican, I think it's a uniparty. I think it's, you know, I think Israel has essentially really bought this country in a way I don't quite understand, other than AIPAC, how they're doing it. But I think that Epstein, this honeypot, and this blackmail operation are kind of a part of that, you know? And I'm one of these people, like, I think that nothing is a smoking gun, right? It's like 2% here, 5% here, 1% here, 7% there, and then suddenly you guys are at like 20, 30, 40%, and that really moves everything. And that's what I think is going on with this whole Israel thing. I think they got their tentacles in a lot of different things, and again, those little tiny percentages add up to big things happening. So, all right, Laura Loomer is one operation and some yellow face paint away from being a Lego. Yeah, that chick's looking kind of, it looks like she got stung by a bumblebee or something like that. You know, she's not very attractive. I mean, a very attractive woman before that, but it seems like she's done something to her face. You know, it's like that line in Pulp Fiction when John Travolta's talking to Eric Stoltz, he's in there buying the drugs. You know, he's like, "Hey man, you want to hook up with so and so?" And then the guy's like, "Well, it was the one with all the shit in her face," and he's like, "No, that's my wife." I was thinking that line's hilarious. So anyway. Yeah, not Laura Loomer's interesting. Okay, he voted for Trump. Yeah, and again, I'm a 10-year Trump supporter. I love this guy. I love his businesses. I love his attitude. I love his branding style. Trump really knows my industry. Trump has been in the furniture industry for a long time. I've talked about it many times before. He had a a deal with Lexington Furniture in Kentucky to build furniture for his hotels. He also had his own furniture brand called Trump Home, and he hooked up with a company in Turkey to build some really iconic looking pieces of furniture. I was going to build one of them and make a video about it, call it replicating Trump furniture. I think it'd be really good on YouTube and play really well. It'd be very clickbaity, but I just haven't gotten around to it. So believe it or not, Trump's style with the high gloss lacquer, the brass, the gold. This is the kind of furniture that we build here at the Resplendent Crow. We use a lot of high gloss lacquer, a lot of brass embellishments, and it's a very high end, luxurious look. And Trump's all about that, So, all right, Rochi's back in here. Rochi 5706. What's wrong with persuading Christians and conservatives to do our will? Well, again, that's there's nothing wrong with that, I guess. Okay, you saw CIA investigation of Tucker. No, there's not a known investigation of Tucker. What happened is Tucker went on the internet and he put out a video talking about how the CIA is getting ready to refer him to the Department of Justice, right? So they're basically going to put a complaint in stating that Trump was talking to probably somebody in Iran, and therefore he needs to be prosecuted by the Department of Justice, right? This is a kind of a textbook play. This is what a lot of the CIA, FBI will do this as well. They'll essentially accuse somebody of something, right, that they may or may not have done, and then what happens is the media latches onto it and then runs with it because, again, the media hates Tucker Carlson right now because he's anti-war. And if you're part of the propaganda outfit right now, you are pushing everybody in the media to be pro-war, right? You're not seeing a lot of dissent in the war, right? You got to go on to Breaking Points or the Young Turks to find any dissent. You got to look at Owen Schroyer to have any dissent. And so what they're doing is they're going after this guy because, believe it or not, Trump is probably the #1 person in media right now. And again, they hate that. Trump is a dear friend to Donald Trump, and Tucker has talked about on Piers Morgan about how he doesn't understand what Trump's doing. He can't seem to get through to this guy. And Trump is essentially surrounding himself with people that will tell him what he wants to hear. This is what megalomaniacs do, right? They surround themselves with people that they will tell them what they want to hear because they want to bend reality into what they want it to be. Trump honestly believes that this is the greatest country on earth and that our way is the right way. And he believes in things like might is right. He believes that capitalism is the only way. He believes that democracies are the only thing, even though we buy all of our shit from China, which is communist, and the people that are sending all the money to America for these investments in AI companies are all monarchies. Trump believes this kind of shit. He's a believer. He's like Mike Huckabee. Mike Huckabee is a believer in the state of Israel. He's a zealot, right? Benjamin Netanyahu is a zealot for the state of Israel, right? There's a lot of zealotry going on. Sean Hannity is a zealot for the state of Israel. Mark Levin, Ben Shapiro, these are zealots for the state of Israel. These people have zero allegiance to America, right? And Trump, if you guys look at Trump's family, Jared Kushner is married to his wife, Ivanka, right? Jared Kushner is a dear friend of Benjamin Netanyahu. All of his business investments are in the Middle East. He is, if you look at the connections between Mossad and the CIA, Jared Kushner is listed in there as one of the people that is the go-between between Epstein, Mossad, and the CIA. Okay, so this guy is in those files, and there's not a ton of information about him on there, but he is there. If you guys wanted me to, I could go into Grok right now and find the exact context for which he's listed. But this guy, again, he's in there. Everywhere you see America involved in the Middle East, you will find Jared Kushner, right? Everywhere there is a tie between America and Israel, you will find Jared Kushner is in the conversation. This guy is extremely well connected. And if I'm not mistaken, Ivanka Trump converted to Judaism, right? Which, again, nothing wrong with that. But you see the links here. There's a lot of this Jewish propaganda and this Jewish zealotry around, or Israel zealotry, I should say, around Donald Trump. And therefore, Donald Trump is choosing to do what is in Israel's interest and not what is in America's interest. Because, again, if Donald Trump was working on things here at home, he would work on things here at home, and he would be putting the Middle East on the back burner. But he's not. He's putting the Middle East first because he knows that he's going to lose Congress here in about 6 months, and Congress is not for this war. Congress is not for supporting the state of Israel. The president absolutely is. Even though these guys are paid by AIPAC, they're paid to make decisions based on what is better for Israel as opposed to what is better for America. Donald Trump's it is all coming to an end. He's got 6 months, and then he's out. And again, Congress would much rather go after Donald Trump than they would go fight a war in Iran. I guarantee it. So Donald Trump's in a race against time right now, and if he doesn't hurry up and execute this war and get everyone back in here, and here's another thing, guys. Nobody's talking about this yet, but here's what's coming down the road next month. So if Donald Trump doesn't get out of Iran within 60 days, guess what? He is constitutionally required to get a declaration of war from Congress, right? So I don't know when he started this conflict. Well, let's just say it was the middle of the beginning of March, right? That means he's got to the end of April to get this war done, get everyone back home. Otherwise, Congress is going to drag his ass back home. And it's really weird that Congress isn't already requiring a declaration of war or pushing for bills and resolutions in, say, the House to rein in the executive branch's power over sending the military in between all these countries, but they're not doing it, which is very suspect. Like, I don't know why. Again, they hated this guy forever. They tried to kill him. They tried to throw him in jail. They, literally created laws to put him in jail and to charge him with crimes so they could always call him a criminal. But suddenly, he's over there trying to start a war in Iran. He's snatching leaders out of other countries. He's threatening to take over other countries in Greenland, and Congress is very silent, which is really weird. I can't figure it out. Okay, more comments, guys. All right, let's see. Sun says more than 0 Americans dead in the Middle East is fucked. Yeah. Again, that's it's not happening. Bethany, this is Bethany. Bethany Recrazy, I'm sure your name says hi. Good to see you, dude. Sun Tzu says there should be a single American there. We don't need bases all around. Yeah, we have. I want to say we have something like 300 or 400 bases all around the world. After America, well, I'm not going to go into, America has bases everywhere. And again, Donald Trump was supposed to help end conflicts. He's supposed to bring some of that stuff back home and work on making this country great again. He didn't say he was going to make this country great again by conquering every country and then making them all serfs to America. Again, I didn't vote for that. I don't think anyone voted for that. I know that's what this guy wants to do. You guys see it with NATO right now. Again, he's basically saying, you know what, NATO, you guys need to get your asses down here and you need to get these boats through the strait because we're sure as shit not going to do it. We've conquered these people. Now it's your job. And it's like, wait a minute, there was no problem before we got there. Like, Trump he's losing his mind. He's absolutely crazy, guys. And I'm sure Europe doesn't know what to do. Like, they're probably going to send ships and send troops because they need the energy. Like, Europe is tied to this region. America is not tied at all. We have almost no ties to the energy industry in the Middle East. Europe has everything going on there. One of the reasons that Europe's not fucking with Iran is because they need the energy, right? They're supporting the Ukraine-Russia conflict. Remember, guys, Nord Stream? Nord Stream's gone, right? It got cut off. It got blown up. Probably we don't know that. So they're already paying shit oil and natural gas. They're buying natural gas from America at like 50% the rate they were buying prior to the Ukraine-Russia conflict. Like Europe is in deep shit. Like, they're in a lot of trouble. They don't want to stir the pot. Trump is stirring the pot, forcing them to come down and basically man up and control this country and get involved in this energy situation. And it's too bad. Like, I feel bad for Europe right now. I feel bad for these people because, again, these guys just want to drink tea and drive nice cars and carry handbags around. They don't want to go fight wars. America loves war. We've been doing it ever since I've been alive. Okay, Jason Rapp. Yeah, the same in Australia, mate. Some ships happening in Australia is fucking time. Okay, yeah, the same in Australia, mate. Some ships happening in Australia. I'm not exactly sure what you're saying, Jason Rappa, but greetings from America, dude. Like, I spent a bunch of time in New Zealand. I always laugh at you guys. You Australians, you always get super pissed off when you're called Kiwis, or people think that you're New Zealand or that New Zealanders are Australians. But you guys are basically brothers from another mother, from what I understand. So glad you're here. Appreciate it. When you guys, man, you got a beautiful country, by the way. All right, Sunzu 6122, Bondi Beach was a false flag. Yeah, I don't know about Bondi Beach, but man, we got a lot of potential false flags going on right now. And again, when the propaganda is so high in America right now, when, again, your news media on cable, right, which is where your boomers watch, they're being fed, the war is great, go get the Iranians, right? The Iranians want to kill Americans, it's going to be better if we go over there and they do it the American way. We got to save Israel and all these kind of things. You look on X, right? And I don't know about TikTok. I'm not a TikTok guy, but when you go on X, again, it's like 12 people that are all in my feed telling me that war is great. Donald Trump's the greatest president that's ever lived. And if we go do this thing, guess what? Suddenly everything's going to get better in America. And I don't see it. Like, I'm a thinker. Like, I'm a guy, I got to operate in the world. I got fucking people that need paychecks. I got to sell furniture, right? I got to go buy material. I need paint. I need all kinds of things. I don't know how Israel affects any of that. And when people say, oh, it's going to bring the cost of energy down. The cost of energy was coming down, everyone. Like, again, all you got to do is build up the supply in our hemisphere, and guess what? Costs go down for everyone. Kick the illegals out, right? Cut off the third world to manufacture all of our shit, and then guess what? America has to use the Americans that we have. Well, guess what? Americans' lives start getting better. Oh my God, who'd have thought that if you teach some poor black guy how to make furniture, his life gets better. Oh my God, if you give some, poor woman a job, like, oh my God, suddenly she can, go out and make some real money, have a little bit of pride in her life. Oh my God, if you gave your people universal health care, universal child care, they could actually go to work and not have to worry about how they're going to pay for their kids, who's going to take care of their kids. They could actually ease their stress. But no, it doesn't seem like that's what we want to do. We want to send $2 billion a day over the Middle East. We want to spend $4 million on every Tomahawk that we shoot. Like, it's insane what we're doing in this country, guys. Donald Trump ran on a platform to help America, and he's fucked every one of us. And it's wildly disgusting. I'm so disappointed in this man. Okay, Turkish man 67 people are listening to the fact less bozo. Okay, well, this is a Jet Cone Zeg, and I appreciate your comment, dude. But let me know what I'm getting wrong, and let everyone bat it around. So, Super Replictic with no trust, there's no basis, and no basis means American army stays at home, which is beginning to think wouldn't be a bad thing. Okay, well, I hope you're right, man. I hope Trump isn't able to send all these troops over the continent, but every time we go over there, guys, it ends in Americans dying. It ends in trillions of dollars being spent, and what we end up getting in return is a failed state. Okay, going into Iraq didn't better this country. Going into Afghanistan didn't better this country. Destabilizing Syria, Yemen, all these countries didn't help America. You know who it helps? It helps us, a little tiny country over in the Middle East that no American is ever going to go to, that no American could ever find on a map because it's so tiny and insignificant. It's literally the size of New Jersey, and for some reason, this one little group of people has a massive amount of influence here in America. I can't figure out why it is. If anyone knows, I would love to know. So, okay, let's see, this is tiny, more, okay, tiny. Okay, I don't know what's tiny, and I don't know what, again, you got to put some context in there, dude. Mystic Pizza, man, great movie. Julia Roberts. Okay, why does any of this matter? The Dow was at 50,000 for a day or two. Yeah, I know. That's all that matters, guys. As long as the Dow's up, everything's great, right? Do you feel like you're participating in that great Dow 50,000 mark, right? Do you feel like you can afford steak and eggs now? Do you feel like the cost of energy has come down? The cost of the car insurance you're paying has come down. The cost of vehicles has come down. Do you feel like your paycheck is buying more than it used to because the Dow's at 50,000? I don't think so. So anyway, hit the like button and hit the subscribe button if you agree with me. Keep the comments coming, guys. We're going to keep reading. All right, Thunder 97, dreaming a lot. All right, cool. William Stanford, 1452, Latinos for Trump. Yeah, again, the thing about the people don't understand about illegal immigration is a lot of the people that came here legally, they don't want the illegals here either, right? Because again, they actually had to do the work to get into this country, or maybe you're one of these visa workers that comes over every year and gets to work here for whatever 3 to 6 months. These people don't want illegal people coming in here because it makes it, not only does it make it harder for the people that come in here legally, but it pisses them off that these people come in there. And not only does it give the illegal immigrants a bad name, but it gives the people that do it correctly a bad name too. Like, we have this tendency to associate everyone with the thing that they're associated with. And again, when you see a Mexican, you think that they're all illegals. And guess what? They're not, right? You think, when you see a guy from Honduras, right, you think that they're all here illegally. And guess what? They're not. So it's no good, man. It's terrible. All right, Jetta Baby 9380, God, USA, God first. Yeah, I guess so, man. Thorn 6809, Jamal Khashoggi was not from Turkey, but from. Oh, okay, I had that wrong. Okay, thank you for the correction. So again, nevertheless, he was cut up into little tiny pieces and moved out of that hotel, if I'm not mistaken. And didn't he have dual citizenship here in America? Again, correct me, that was a long time ago. I'm kind of going off memory here. Okay, isn't you talking about stuff like that propaganda? Right, isn't you? Okay. No, I don't think that. I'm not talking propaganda. I'm talking both sides of an issue. I'm talking about what's really happening in the real world. And again, as a real person that has real business and has to sell to real people, and again, I don't know anyone that supports this war, but I'm sure a lot of people do. I just don't know anyone. That's why I want you guys to put it in the comments. If you're one of the people that supports the war, let us know and tell us why. Right? That's the most important thing. It's like, it's easy to say, oh, everyone supports this war. You guys see all these polls coming out like, oh, 94% of MAGA supports this war. Bullshit. There is no way. Like, again, as someone who was a lifelong Trump supporter, I'm voting Democrat next time across the board. You've got to stop this guy. You've got to put him in check. He's not doing what he said he was going to do. And we're just going to have to move further to the left as a country in order to get the actual person that is going to move this country right. That is going to move this country into where we actually close the borders, kick the illegals out, kick the third world out for making all of our shit. We got to keep going left, guys. Taxes are going to have to get to 50%. We're going to have to let the third world in here, and we're all going to speak whatever, Arabic. And we got to get to that place. You know, it's just going to happen. We didn't go far enough to the left during COVID, and it sucks, man. I don't want to live in that world, but it is what it is. You know, it's just Trump isn't going to do it. So, all right, the biggest controversy, 5881, 2 guys more need to show up. Okay, well, I think we have more than 2 guys. Maybe, am I really behind in the comments? Sorry, guys, I'm just way behind. All right, let's speed up with our comments here. I'm going to move forward, and that way I'm getting your guys' comments here. All right, this is Josiah Elmore? Josiah Elmore, 8117. Fuck your opinions other than the one when I joined. Just completely on the wrong side of the argument. You are educated, but how much is Russia paying you? Damn, you have like no one watching you. Okay, well, again, I think we get watchers in here. A lot of people watch these streams, but I'm not educated. I never graduated high school, but I did figure out how to make some money and start a business and get really good at some stuff, you know. So that's my point of view. I didn't go to the Wharton School of Business. I don't have a, you know, I didn't graduate cum laude. I don't have a degree in economics or small business. Like, I just figured it out. And I think that my representation of what's happening in America is much more in line with what the average person deals with. That's what I talk about. That's where I come from. And that's why I think people like the stream, you know. So I appreciate your comment, though. Derek White, 2929, keeping everyone nicely distracted from the Epstein stuff that just won't go away through this, isn't it? Yeah, that's what I think. I think that, again, and it's not all Epstein. And I think that Trump may not necessarily be as involved with Epstein prior to Epstein being convicted of being a pedophile or a child trafficker, if I'm being, you know, if I want to be technically correct. Trump did disassociate with himself, and you have to honor it, you got to respect that, and you have to acknowledge it, right? It's really important that people do that. But everyone that is in Trump's orbit is in the Epstein files. I mean, everyone, guys. Like, your Secretary of Commerce right now, Howard Lutnick, was in business with Epstein, literally lived next to the guy, went out to the boat with this guy, brought his kids out with this guy, was dealing with Jeffrey Epstein after he became a known sexual predator, right? A child trafficker, right? This is not good. You cannot have this guy being your Secretary of Commerce. But again, Trump looks the other way because he's loyal, right? You just deny, and you kill anyone that would potentially say something, right? Which is exactly what's happened. The people that are in Trump's orbit are bad. Jared Kushner, you know, his son-in-law is in the Epstein files, right? This is no good, right? Tom Pritzker, the head of Hyatt Corporation, also the hotel industry, which Trump is also highly involved in. Tom Pritzker got kicked out of Hyatt because of his associations with Epstein. Larry Summers, right? One of the top economists for, was it Obama or Clinton? I believe it was Obama, you know, was the president of Harvard University. Again, wildly good academic. Love fucking little kids, right? So that we don't hear from that guy anymore. That guy's disappeared. Bill Gates, right? One of the luminaries of technology, right? You know, started Microsoft, yada, yada, yada. Again, that guy, his wife divorced him over Epstein, right? Again, one of the main people during the COVID that was pushing this idea that everyone had to get vaccinated was involved in the vaccine situation. Again, connected to Epstein, right? I mean, there's so many people in Trump's orbit that are connected to Jeffrey Epstein. Look at the director of the FBI, Kash Patel. Kash Patel, I believe, lied and committed perjury under oath when he said there were no co-conspirators involved in Jeffrey Epstein's child trafficking scheme. It was just Jeffrey Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell. Yet, if you look at the names that were redacted, Les Wexler's name was redacted in the Epstein files where it called him a co-conspirator. Ro Khanna and Thomas Massie brought this to light. Pam Bondi lied under oath, stating that, oh my God, well, we just must have redacted that on accident. No, they redacted that name on purpose. And then she's like, oh, we redacted that name in 45 minutes after you told us. Yeah, but somebody had to go in there and see the unredacted fucking name so that we could get that name out there. Well, then that means that when Kash Patel said under oath that, oh, there are no co-conspirators, well, suddenly Les Wexler sure is a co-conspirator. Or how about the guy that owned Apollo? Right? And I forget that guy's name off the top of my head. But again, he gave Jeffrey Epstein $158 million. Like, where's that guy? He's not a co-conspirator? Like, these people that gave Jeffrey Epstein all this money, they didn't give him this money because he was smart. Like, I'm sorry to tell you guys, like, this is not why this guy got this money. Now, if you guys want to look at the fashion industry, where did Les Wexler get his money? He got his money from fashion. He founded Victoria's Secret, okay? what's Trump's number one sin, right? Trump loves pussy. And sorry to be crass, guys, but this is Trump's number one sin. Trump used to own Miss Universe. He used to own Miss Teen USA, okay? Some of the people that have died in jail related to Jeffrey Epstein were the people that were finding the women and the models, the talent for Victoria's Secret, the talent for Calvin Klein, the talent for all these companies. And guess what? It all goes back to Les Wexler. It all goes back to people like Donald Trump. And it's bad news, guys. And that's, again, send the country to war. That's something you don't have to think about the Epstein files. And then again, the government didn't even release all the files they were supposed to release. They released 3.5 million out of the 6 million. You're telling me that there's 3 million files that are all victims, that are all under investigation, that are all sources of methods? Like, I don't buy it, you know? I don't buy it at all. So anyway, if you guys are in the stream, we're at almost an hour. Hit the like button, add the discussion, hit the subscribe button. My name is Eric Wilkin. I own the Resplendent Crow. There you go, son. Here in St. Louis, Missouri, we manufacture fine furniture. We move about 500 pieces a year. It's a great business, great small business, right? Never graduated high school. I'm just a dumb guy that worked really hard and found a way to start a company. And again, anyone can do this. So this is where my perspective comes from. This is what I talk about, why I talk about things that I talk about. When I talk about tariffs, it's because I have 2 companies in India that I actually have to buy shit from, that I design hardware with, right? Because I own a furniture company. So when I talk about tariffs, I talk about it because I actually do it. I'm not an economist. I didn't go to Harvard. I just actually have to fucking pay tariffs, right? I actually have to know what tariffs are. I have to understand how you move product from the third world to the first world, right? That's where I come from. When I talk about small business, it's because I got 9 guys that rely on me to sell some shit, right? I got 9 guys that rely on me to be able to pay their mortgage, to be able to pay their car payments, to be able to send their kids to school. These guys all rely on me to be able to be really good at what I do. And I've been doing it for 10 years. So that's the perspective that I have. Hit the like button if you like that kind of content, you like that kind of perspective. You're tired of the shills on X. You're tired of listening to the experts on Fox News, the experts on CNN. That's why we're here. And I think that YouTube, the live stream, even the live streams on X, right? These are going to be the new way that people want to conversate, because they want to see real people. They want to interact with people in real time, in real life, and understand where they're coming from. And people, they want to see that people are actually have these opinions, right? They don't want to see, something that someone types, some bot, there's some mysterious faceless person talk. They want to see the real thing. So, all right, Randy B8. Randy B8. Okay, cool name. All right, Romans 2:29. But he is a Jew, which is one inwardly the circumcision is that of the heart and the spirit. And okay, again, these Bible verses, I don't know. But somebody said something to me the other day. It was kind of interesting. People always like to talk about Jesus, right? And they say, oh, Jesus was a Jew, right? Jesus was a Jew. They always like to bring it back to this whole Jew-Israel thing, And the thing that this person said to me that was really interesting is they said, well, it's funny because, Jesus created Christianity. It's like, apparently he didn't like the way that he was born, and so he created this new thing that became, I think it's the most popular religion in the world, So put that in your pipe and smoke it when someone tells you that kind of thing. So it's kind of interesting. Yeah, I'm not a religious guy. I don't know if that's all true, but from what I heard, that's how it went down. So okay, Road 5706. Good morning, and good Christians will always vote for Trump and always put Israel first. Okay, well that's cool, man. Again, we appreciate your opinion here, and if that's what you think, I think that's cool, man. That's the great thing about America. We can all have our own beliefs, and we can all just kind of bat the ideas around, and that's what we're here to do today. So. All right, Johnny Vega has got some kind of thumbs up. Appreciate it, dude. Son, exactly the requirement for being a part of Israel is believing in Jesus. Romans 9:6. Okay, we got TV pictures. Okay, left out the EU doesn't import Iranian oil. Well, again, what I'm saying is the EU imports oil from, again, Russia's a big place that they get oil from, but everybody gets oil from the Middle East. I hate to tell you this. Everyone gets some version of oil from the Middle East. Now, they may run it through another country, but they all get oil. It's just like when we bring oil in here to America, we used to funnel it through other countries because, again, we'd put sanctions on places like Venezuela. Well, we were still getting oil from Venezuela, right? We'd put sanctions on countries like Russia. Go grok how much oil we were actually getting from Russia. They were just running it through other countries before it got here to America. So, again, the oil market is it's very opaque. It's very hard to see exactly where you're getting the oil from. We saw the same thing with tariffs. You guys remember when Trump would put big tariffs on China? Well, China would just start sending all of its shit to a place like Vietnam that had less of a tariff, and then they would send it through to America. So everything's very opaque. It's not super clear where oil comes from all the time. It's not super clear where our products are coming from all the time. People change, the destination or the origin of products. They change the identity of boats. They do all kinds of wacky shit, So, all right. All right, moving on. Ready to be Romans. Okay, you're reading more Bible stuff. I'll let you guys read all that kind of stuff. I'm not going to comment on right now. This is Notias 2. War is the worst thing mankind ever created. Yeah, well, but it's yeah. I'm not for war. I'm one of these guys. Like, I am not a non-interventionalist. I am one of these guys that believes that if you want to come mess with America, like, go for it. Like, bring it on. Bring it on, please. But we're not going to go and mess with the rest of the world. Like, you want to come here and fight with us? We're happy to have you. We love fighting. We love guns. We love all of it. Let's go. But that's not what we do. We just want to project power forever. And again, we're spending $1 trillion a year to keep this military going so that it can enforce America's policies all over the world. And I just don't like that. I don't think that that's right. I think we could better use that money at home. I think we could make this country better by, again, increasing the resource development that we have here, the mining that we have here in this country, utilizing countries like Canada, countries like Mexico, Honduras, Brazil, all these places, and try and bring that product in here to America. But I'm not president, So, all right, Mom said, let's see what you got to say today. Mom said's been in here a long time. She doesn't always agree with me, but I always comment with her. I really appreciate the pushback. Again, I talk to people that disagree with me all the time. Okay, Israel doesn't mean Christian. It means one who struggles with God, and it was the name Jacob took. It does mean everyone. It means Jacob specifically. Okay, well, I appreciate that, Mom said. I had no idea. Thanks for the information. Nope, Israel, the God means Christian. Etymology, you're right, but I mean definitionally. Okay, again, Son's a smart dude, guys. Like, this guy, just as the kind of information he has is not the information that I would have. So everything he talks about is like way above me in terms of knowledge. So I appreciate it, son. All right, not laws. Donald Trump poops his dips. Okay, interesting comment there. Appreciate it. Okay, son's doing more Bible stuff. Wants to know Israel means no one struggles with God. Okay, you're more Israel talk. Yeah, that's etymology. Okay, all right, credential commentary. The Epstein war continues. Yeah, again, this is, if Trump doesn't fix this whole Epstein thing, he's literally going to go down as the Epstein president, right? The Epstein administration. This thing is going to go with him to his grave. All of his children are going to be, Ivanka's going to be called, Ivanka Epstein. Kushner's going to be called Jared Kushner. Like, this is going to go with these people to their grave. It is never going to go away. So Trump needs to just get out in front of this thing. He needs to release all the files. He needs to have the CIA release all their shit. He needs to force Mossad over there in Israel to release all the shit that they have. They need to just come out and say, look, we got this crazy honeypot operation. It's a blackmail operation. We used it to benefit America. We used it to benefit Israel. And fine, we can deal with that. But when you don't give people all the information, the conspiracy just builds. There's nothing you can do to make that go away because it's human nature. We always want to know what we don't know. And when you give us just a tiny little morsel of something, it drives us crazy, What do they say? Not knowing is worse than knowing, right? And that's kind of where we're at. So, okay, son, you guys are going back and forth. All right, the Duffs for Axions. Appreciate you being here, dude. Okay, he says nope. All right, cool. User FC1R11. Okay, we now know why. Please watch the Candace Owens. Yeah, and again, let's get into that real quick. So I did talk about the people that are kind of anti-war and why they're kind of being targeted by our government. They're being targeted by the right-leaning people and the propagandists on X and TikTok and Fox News and CNN, all these kind of people. So I mentioned to you guys the guys that are they're all in lockstep. Again, a lot of people are never Trumpers. There's a lot of people that said that Trump's the biggest idiot. He's a rapist. He's a this, he's a that. He's a criminal, blah, blah, blah. People like Mark Levin and Ben Shapiro. These are never Trump types. But the minute he went over and started fighting Israel's wars, they're just like, oh, my God, this is the greatest president of all time. They just did a complete 180, and they don't think that no one noticed. Like, hold on, guys. Like, you hated this guy. You thought what a dipshit he is, and suddenly, like you're sucking him off every day because he's going over and fighting Iran, on behalf of Israel. You just can't get your head out of this dude's ass. It's really weird. People like Betty Johnson, Gunther Eagleman, this cat turd guy, Lindsey Graham. You guys see Lindsey Graham? I mean, he literally is like orgasming on television every time he talks about, oh, I love Israel. Like, it's kind of wild. I mean, it's kind of insane, right? I mean, Megyn Kelly's been going on talking about just what a cuck this guy is, and just like he has got to get away from Donald Trump. And she's calling who is it, Mark Levin, micro penis Mark. It's like, this is so low rent, but I mean, it is kind of humorous. It's nice to see that we got some pushback from the old neocons that got out of cable news. People like Tucker Carlson and people like Megyn Kelly are like, no, we know this playbook. We know what's going on. And these people are lying to all of you. And here's what's really happening. And so these people have a lot of credibility because they all got fired, right? They got pushed out of this particular industry, and now they're more powerful, they make more money, and they're more relevant than they ever were when they were on cable television. So anyway, let's go to those people. So some of the names I wrote down that are pushing against this war, that are at least in my orbit, they're not, not everyone's going to know these people, I'm sure, but so these people are going to be, like Thomas Massey, Ro Khanna. I think these are the ones in politics that people understand. These guys are pushing back hard. They think this is a war of choice, not a war of necessity, right? People like Candace Owens, right? Again, I've literally never watched Candace Owens. My wife kind of likes her a little bit. She's one of these people that likes to push a lot of conspiracy, and people seem to like this stuff. And I guess she's really popular. So people like this woman, but she's pushing hard against this war. People like Tucker Carlson, right? Now we got the CIA potentially going after him, probably at Trump's request, or maybe potentially at Mossad's request, because again, Mossad and CIA, they're kind of linked together, guys. Like, I don't think that these are different entities. Like, they're kind of the same entity at this point. Tucker Carlson has literally went to the president and said, hey, man, we don't want to do this. But Trump has not listening to him. He doesn't want to hear it. He's only listening to Fox News, which is really wild. Though Trump has been it's been well documented. Trump loves Fox News. He loves the cable media. He loves seeing his name on television. Like, he's one of these guys, and that's no bueno for all of us, but it is what it is. Megyn Kelly, another person, used to work at Fox News with Tucker Carlson, had a great show. She left Fox News, went to NBC, and got kicked out of NBC because she wouldn't toe the line for what they wanted her to say. She kind of had her own thoughts. She went on to YouTube, went on to SiriusXM, and now she's more popular than ever. This woman gets more streams and more people watching her than entire news industries. Like, people are wide awake to what's really going on, and that's one of the reasons I don't think that people are behind this war. I don't think that the vast majority of MAGA is behind this thing. I don't believe that the mass majority of Republicans are behind this thing. I don't think the average person gives a fuck about Iran. They just want cheaper gas, right? They want cheaper houses. They want to be able to buy a home and have some money left over, right? They want jobs that pay better than slave wages, right? They want to not be competing with Jose down on the job site, right? They want to not be competing with Chang over in China to make some shit here in America. This is what Americans really want. They don't care about this Iran conflict, right? Energy was coming down. Like, we got tons of energy here. We're playing with Canada for energy. We're playing with Mexico for energy. Like, we love to go down to Mexico. Is anyone going to take their next vacation over in Iran? You're going to take your next vacation over you're going to go to Tel Aviv? You're going to go to, Riyadh for vacation? Fuck no. No one's going to these places, right? We go to Canada because it's one of the most beautiful places on earth. We all go down to Cancun and down to Cabo, and Port St. Lucie, down to the Virgin Islands. We go to these places and we hang out. This is not an America first kind of a situation. It's not benefiting America. It's not a place that's going to make Americans want to go there. It's not going to happen, guys. No one wants to go to the desert. Like, I'm sorry. We just don't, So anyway, Megyn Kelly, back to her. So she's wildly popular now. Everyone loves her, and she has a massive following, right? And my guess is she's probably bigger than Candace Owens. You guys will have to let me know. I'll go down to the let's go to the, oh my God, we got super chats here, guys. I didn't see any of this stuff. Give me just 1 second. I'm gonna call it your guys' super chats. I appreciate that. Owen Schroyer, right? I think he's a less known kind of a guy. I think he was on Alex Jones, if I'm not mistaken. And again, the guy has great insights into why we should be over to Iran. He's able to piece the Epstein files together better than anyone that I've seen so far. And he's really piecing together what's happening over here in Iran and how Trump is essentially trapped. Trump has to perpetuate this campaign on Iran because he is essentially being blackmailed by Mossad, which is Israel's intelligence agency. He's being blackmailed by our own FBI and our own CIA. And because his family is so intertwined with Israel, he can't get out of this trap that he's in because, again, these people could bring him down because the guy is while he doesn't drink and he doesn't do drugs, he loves women, and if there's one thing powerful people like, it's stuff that they can't have. And guess what? It's hard to get underage girls in the real world, but Mossad and Jeffrey Epstein made this thing happen, and odds are this guy has been doing nasty shit for a long time because he's a psycho. He's one of these people that, again, massive narcissist, megalomaniac, thinks that he can get away with anything. And when what you're seeing with the propaganda on places like X and Fox News, Trump can get away with anything. I mean, there's nothing these guys won't say for this guy. There is no low that Donald Trump can make on a personal level to make this guy untenable to Fox News and to the people on X. There's nothing this guy can do, which is interesting because in your guys' personal life, I would imagine that there's lots of people in your life that have done things that made them untenable, right? You could no longer associate with them. You know what, honey, you're not hanging out with the person. Bill, wife, husband, whatever. You're not going to associate with this person anymore. We're done with these people. I don't want you around those people. When it comes to Fox News and the people on X right now, there's no low, you know. And again, that's one of the reasons these Epstein files aren't coming out in the capacity that they were congressionally obligated to come down. And when Donald Trump says like, oh, I signed the Epstein files, what would I care about the Epstein files? I signed them. He was forced to sign these files, okay? When you have a veto-proof majority, which is what you had with the Epstein Transparency Act, Trump had no choice. If he wouldn't have signed it, he would have looked even worse. So he just reluctantly signed it. And again, his Department of Justice slow-rolled everything related to the Epstein files, and that's why this guy's in deep shit. That's why Fox News is covering for this guy. That's why we're over in Iran right now. That's why the people on X are cucking for this guy or shilling, whatever word it is you want to use. That's the reason this is happening, and it's a damn shame. So anyway, let's go to the super chats real quick. I want to make sure that I get your guys' comments. I'm sorry I didn't get a notification. I usually try and call those out right away. All right, super chat number one we got in here. Let's see here. We got this is Ian YF1RI said $2. MAGA communists are down. MAGA communists are down bad. Okay, dude. I'm not exactly sure what you're saying. So you're saying MAGA are communists? Like, again, I don't necessarily believe that. I think that we just want the illegals kicked out. We want tariffs on the third world. We want Bob to not to have to compete with Jose when they're framing houses. You know, I don't think that's a big deal. We want Eric, you know, to not have to compete with Dim over in Vietnam to make furniture. Right? I think that's probably an okay thing. And wow, that would make things more expensive here in America. Guess what? That means more people can start businesses. That means the poor people, the people that are all on welfare today, maybe they can get a job. Maybe they can get some training and start doing some real work instead of just sucking off the taxpayer, right? Like, we believe in stuff like that. We believe in things like lower taxes, right? Give the people their money back, and then we'll decide how to help people. If I want to go give money to the poor, I'll go give money to the poor. If I want to give money to the church so they can go help the poor, I'll give money to the poor so they go. If I want to go give money to Best Buy, you know, to go buy, you know, AirPods, I'll go give my money to them. If I want to give money to the federal government, I'll give money to the federal government for the programs that I believe in, the things that I believe in as a taxpayer. But I don't think that that's a bad thing. I don't think that I have, you know, whatever, the suicidal empathy that I see on the left, right? I don't have the suicidal empathy that I see in academia, right? I think that we just all want to keep our money. That's it. We just want to keep our money, and then we'll give it out to people. Like, as a business owner, my only job is to create jobs for other people, right? My job is to make sure that we sell enough furniture that we can create jobs so that people can go buy houses, they can go buy cars, they can become happy little taxpayers and support the state that they live in, right? Maybe get a little bit of money to the federal government for defense. But I don't know, man. Like I said, I appreciate the super chat, but I'm not exactly sure if I'm agreeing with what you're saying. But you know, hit me up again. Let me know if I'm disagreeing. I'll find your comment. Okay, another super chat. Epstein bodyguards were Red Army Kremlin dudes. Okay, well, I haven't seen much information on that. Like I said, I've done many deep dives on the Epstein files. Like, this channel literally started because of the Jeffrey Epstein files. So I think I've done just as much content on Epstein as anybody. And I don't know anything about the Kremlin being his bodyguards, right? So the thing the thing that Epstein had, which was interesting, was that he had a benefactor, right? His benefactor was this guy named Les Wexner, okay? Les Wexner is a huge supporter of Israel and the IDF, right? And you don't have to like it. And he started his business called Victoria's Secret, right? So he was in this space of women that want to be models, right? Women that want to be famous, women that want to be sex symbols. And so he had a lot of access to these people, okay? Les Wexner gave all of his money to Jeffrey Epstein, okay? Why would you do that? If you're a business owner, again, and Les Wexner's parents owned a store, right? So it's not like this guy came up with a ton of money. His parents weren't rich. They weren't in government. They weren't backed by some kind of a central intelligence agency. They were just normal people. But he built up this company into what it was. It's one of the greatest iconic fashion houses that has ever existed, you know? And then he gave all of his money to this fucking college dropout rando guy there's nothing special about this guy. As a business owner, someone who busted my ass and gave everything I have to my company, I would never give it away to somebody else. Wouldn't happen, right? Les Wexner also gave this Jeffrey Epstein guy one of the nicest apartments in the city of New York, okay? If you've ever been to New York, guys, it's freaking beautiful. You go down to Manhattan where this apartment is, it's gorgeous. Nobody gets these homes unless you're wildly successful, okay? Jeffrey Epstein was none of this stuff. Why did Les Wexner give him all this information, right? Why did Les Wexner give him all of his assets? Why did people like the guy from Apollo, and God, his name escapes me, why did he give this guy, what was it, $158 million for financial services, right? And then he got kicked out of that company because they started asking, why did you give this Jeffrey Epstein all this money? The guy didn't have an answer. And God, is it Leon Black? I think the guy's Leon Black, that's his name. Leon Black was the guy that was the founder of Apollo, which is this massive investment outfit, right? Gave all this money to Jeffrey Epstein. He's one of the main people in the Epstein files. He is one of the people that will undoubtedly come out as another co-conspirator, another person that Kash Patel said wasn't a co-conspirator, another person that Pam Bondi redacted so that there are no co-conspirators other than Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. So I don't know where the whole Kremlin thing comes in. We're starting to see a little bit more information about Russia potentially being involved in this thing, but all the evidence that we have right now comes to Mossad in Israel, CIA in America, FBI in America, and our Department of Justice headed by our President Donald Trump. Now, this has been going on for a long time. Trump could quash all this shit simply by bringing all these files out. He could literally unclassify some of these files, but he won't do it. He's not interested. And again, Trump lies like I've never seen someone in government lie so much, and people believe this shit. Like the guy is literally like the fucking Antichrist when it comes to lying, and people believing him. It's really weird. He's saying that we got to get the Strait of Hormuz open. Oh my God, Europe needs to come help out with the Strait of Hormuz. It's like, we did that shit, and he's acting like we didn't do that. It's really weird, and people buy it. He's like, oh my God, energy prices are going to come down as soon as we get this war. But it's like, we created the war. We created the high energy prices, and people believe that it's going to get better once Europe comes in and gets their boats through the strait. Once we end the regime in Iran. I'm here to tell you guys, like, there was no problem before we got there, but Donald Trump knows that if he doesn't get this shit done before midterms and help Israel out, guess what? The voter base in America is dying. Israel's voter base is dying. These are the boomers, the neocons from the 80s. They're all dying. The people that are voting now are Gen X, they're millennials, and they're Gen Z. This is all the new voter base, right? And these people don't want anything to do with Israel. Israel knows what's happening. Donald Trump knows what's happening, and they're pushing hard to get this shit done now because they're never going to get another opportunity, or at least they're not going to get another opportunity for 30 or 40 years, right? So, anyway, I hope I painted a good picture there. So I think I saw another super chat. All right, Titan Brew and Son are both in here. These are two of our moderators. They're coming in. They're going to slap down all your guys' dumb comments. So don't even try and put them in there. These guys are on it, which again, I appreciate you guys being here. Titan Brew, good to see you, dude. Glad you're here this morning. All right, we got a super chat coming here this morning. Super chat. This is from the Mikado. Mikado's back in here. Good to see you, dude. Glad you're here. All right, $5 from Mikado. And I got to do the, again, I've watched that Nick Fuentes guy. He's another guy I'm going to put on here. And again, super controversial, but his line is, thanks for the big super chat, So I want to make sure I say it. So thanks, Mikado. I appreciate it. Okay. How do we turn around the big corporate outsourcing bullshit? Have we gone too far? Are Americans even capable of buying less for more money? Okay, this is so this is my life's work, guys. This is again, as someone who comes from a family of wildly academic and intelligent people. My wife is, again, wildly academic, hyper intelligent. Her family is hyper intelligent. Kids super intelligent. It's super important that we have these people. We need an academic class, and we need people that are wildly smart. But where we really screwed up in America is that we told dumb people like me, that you're going to become super intelligent and you're going to get really smart, and every business in America is going to want to hire you, but you got to go to college. Oh, and by the way, you got to pay for it. This is the trap, guys. So when we did that, we essentially sent people to college to learn these new skills, which were important, by the way. I'm not saying that they weren't. They're very important. We're getting new technologies. We're getting new breakthroughs in healthcare. The way that we manage our economy is probably better than it was, but we're getting more people to understand how the economy works, how foreign policy works. This is a good thing. But what happened is we dumbed down the standards in college and in high school, by the way, but in college specifically to get more people into college, right? And while they're sending everyone to college, what happened was starting in NAFTA in the 90s and fast forward to the World Trade Organization, 2001, when we let China in, every corporation in America started outsourcing all the work, right? Because they knew that they could make all the shit in the third world where they're paying DIM $1 an hour instead of paying you back in 2001, $20 an hour. They took that delta and then they started hiring marketing people, branding people, technology people, data analysts, corporate strategists, all these kind of people. And they gave you all great jobs. But the problem is you fast forward 15 years after this happened, well, then suddenly you got 1 million people with the same college degree. You got 2 million people with the same psychology degree. You got 10 million people with the same business degree. You got, whatever, probably 7 million people that wanted to go into things like computer science. You have too many people doing the same thing, and the economy can't support them, right? And what we're finding out is that all these people, not only can the jobs not support the salaries that they need to live in America, they can't support the salaries that they need to pay off the college debt that they incurred trying to work for these companies that outsourced all the work, right? So what's happening now is we're realizing that we let the third world in here while all of you guys were being sent to college. We let the third world in here. Something like 30 million people, almost 10 million while Joe Biden was in office alone, okay? Trump was supposed to fix that. He hasn't done it, okay? The other thing they did is while you guys were all going to college, which was good at the time, they sent all that work to the third world. It started out with China. They sent something like, I want to say something like 40 to 50% of all the manufacturing work went strictly to China. Well, China's quality of life is starting to raise up. Well, guess what's happening? Now they're outsourcing the work to Vietnam and Indonesia, right? So they're doing what America's doing. But the point is that the $250 an hour we're now paying China, and the $32.50 an hour that you should be making as an American worker, the companies are taking that and they're essentially buying the politicians. They're creating regulations in America. They're trying to increase the minimum wage, which actually hurts small business. They're trying to increase the regulations around things like steel, around manufacturing, around making furniture, right? That's why every table saw has to have 1,000 guards. You got to have 1 million different kinds of dust collectors. All your electricity has to be bought off by 100 fucking permitters. You have to have all the right spray booth systems, the right halon systems. You have to have all the right explosion-proof everything in your business in order to have a paint business in America. Guess what? All those policies that we push for here in America don't exist in the third world. When we bring the third world in here, none of these people that are coming in here to work give a fuck about any of that stuff. They just want to work because they've never seen so much money and so much opportunity in the world in their lives. Meanwhile, you guys are left behind. You can't get a job that pays for what you were told you were supposed to do, which was go to college. Get a skill or get an education in psychology. Maybe you're supposed to get an education in some kind of a STEM field. And again, when you bring the third world in here and allow everything to be done in the third world, corporations have an incentive to not employ you people. And again, I tell you guys, I say it hyperbolically as a guy that runs a business here in America. Like, why the fuck would I hire you guys? Like, play it out, game it out, guys. Why would I hire you? You want high wages, right? You want healthcare. You want dental. You know, I got to pay a ton of insurance to pay you. And guess what? My insurance is based on your salary. So the more that I pay you, the more workman's comp I have to pay, right? You guys want a nice place to work. You want things like a break room and fucking, 220 power, and you want, refrigerators, and you want all this kind of stuff as employees, okay? You want, maybe you want to have nice employees. You want people that don't fight, maybe you want to be able to sue your employer if he's a piece of shit. You want all this stuff here in America. You want safe air, safe drinking water, right? You want all this stuff. Why would I hire you guys when I can hire a guy from the third world who doesn't give a fuck about any of that, right? I'll pay him the same amount of money, but he doesn't care about all the regulations, which are what really cost my business a lot of money, right? Or maybe I'll just outsource the manufacture of my furniture to the third world. Again, they don't care about any of that stuff. They don't have any of those regulations over here, right? But again, when you send everyone to college and you tell them the most important thing in the world is to have a safe workplace and clean air and clean drinking water, and oh my God, climate change is the biggest thing ever, right? And government is good because it produces a safe work environment and produces a safe place clean drinking water and safe air. Well, then you produce people that want all that stuff. This cycle then makes you unemployable, okay? I hope this makes sense to people. Like, this is the problem. And what they're trying to do now that AI has come out, well, guess what? All you people that got white-collar business degrees, all you people that are doing white-collar jobs like computer science, you're all fucked. Unless you're really good at what you do, coming right out of college, the people that are really good at what they do, they're always going to have work. But the people that are average, which is most people in America, no shade on anyone. I'm as average as it gets, right? But I see what's happening as a business owner to everyone here in America. They're not going to hire you guys. They're going to put you all on welfare. They're going to put you all on UBI. UBI is coming. Remember what Elon Musk said? High quality UBI is coming. Money's not going to mean anything. It's coming, guys. Like, I hate to tell you this. It is here. And it starts with sending the work to the third world and bringing the third world in here to do the work, and then sending all of you people to college and brainwashing you into believing that America doesn't need to make anything anymore. America doesn't need to make shit, because guess what? You're all going to be service workers. You're all going to work in an office. And again, if you're the best of the best, that absolutely works. But most people aren't that, and you have to provide jobs and things for them that they can do, right, to have value in their life. We saw it during COVID, right? When we had COVID, there was a form of UBI going on. The feds were handing out money. The states were handing out money. They told you guys you don't got to pay rent. It was insane just how many things people did not pay. You didn't have to pay back your student loans. Like, all that shit was put on hold. And what happened? Everyone just spent money, right? You just got money and everyone spent it. It was great. Everyone got to buy Jordans. I bought comic books. Like, people were buying cars. People were buying houses. People were buying stocks. Everything was going through the roof. And then what happened? What happened after all the cocaine wore off, right? What happened after the fentanyl wore off, right? The cost of everything was double. And guess what? That money stopped. All that free money was gone. And guess what? Everyone's like, well, what the fuck, man? Like, now I got to go back to work. I can't afford anything. Now everyone's taking on a piece of that welfare. You guys know the #1 employer in America is Walmart? 30% of their workforce is on welfare. How is that okay? 30% of their workforce is on welfare. And guess what they do with their welfare money? They spend it at Walmart. The place that they work, the place that's supposed to keep them off welfare, does not pay them enough money to then not need welfare. Like, this is what's happening. And it's stair-stepping, guys. It's stair-stepping. It used to be whatever, $7,000 was poverty. Well, then it was $15,000 was poverty. Well, now it's $24,000 poverty. How long till it's $32,000 poverty, and then $40,000 in poverty, and then $50,000 is poverty? And guess what? It just stair-steps into where everyone needs some of that government assistance. It goes from being welfare to being UBI. This is what's happening, guys. And it's plain as day to me. Like, I see it. And this is why I'm not a richer man. I would be much richer if I would just build my furniture in Vietnam like everyone else, like our house does, like Restoration Hardware does, like Solder does, like Theodore Alexander does. If I would just make my furniture in the third world, I could bring it back here, I could design it, and I could sell it for a shit ton of money. I could bring the third world in here, right? Hire all these people to do all the work, right? Because again, they'll work for cheap. I don't have to worry about them crying about, my business sucking or I'm not taking care of my employees. I don't worry about any of that shit. They just want to fucking work. But I don't. And this is the dilemma that we have here today. If we don't crush corporations sending all your guys' work to the third world and then bringing the third world in here to do all the work that you guys won't do for the slave wages, right? You guys saw what Trump was doing with the farmers, right? He's going to get them all a ton of visa holders because they need to bring that cheap labor in here to pick grapes. They need to bring that cheap labor in here to pick tomatoes, right? They need to bring that cheap labor in here, especially in California, to pick avocados. Because guess what? You guys won't do that work. Americans won't do that work, guys. Academia did this to you guys. Academia is what convinced everyone we're not going to pick strawberries. We're not going to roof houses. We're not going to lay concrete. That's for Mexicans. That's for beaners, right? That's for wetbacks. You don't want to be one of those people. You don't want to be a loser and work hard with your hands like your dad did. Go to school. They convinced everyone in America that we won't do this work. I'm here to tell you guys, we'll do this work. We're just not going to do it for slave wages. And then they'll say, oh, God, the cost of avocados are going to go up. Like, so what? You're buying avocados from your neighbor. Like, the guy down the street is doing the work. You know who he is. You buy shit from him. This is what is missing in America. And I say this as an American business owner that could make more money by outsourcing to the third world. Guess what? Fucking easy to make furniture in Mexico. Super easy to make furniture in Vietnam. The industries are already there. The businesses are already there. Hard to do it here in America because, again, all the regulation, the high wages, the everything. But again, cut off the businesses that are doing all that work, cut off the easy labor coming into the businesses, and the business models have to change, guys. And they terrify you with high prices. They terrify you with the idea that you're going to have to go get dirty, right? Maybe you got to take a shower after you come home from work instead of taking a shower before you come home to work, right? Maybe they're going to stop pitting white collar against blue collar, and we're all just going to be fucking Americans. Maybe that's going to happen. Maybe it won't happen. I don't know. Your comment is fantastic, man. I really like your comment. It gets me thinking about this a lot. But if you're one of these people that believes what I believe, that corporate America is the problem in our system today, corporate America is buying politicians, corporate America is increasing regulation in America so that it is harder to compete with them, right? It's harder to start a small business so that they can then send the work to the third world where none of the regulations that they promote here in America exist, right? They send everyone to college so that they can then fill their heads with bullshit about how we need to be safer. We need to have a safer culture. We need to have clean air, clean drinking water, and we need to make sure that we got the safest of everything in the workplace, that no one should have to breathe any dust, no one should have to hear any loud noises, no one should have to hear dirty words, right? No one should have to be around racists, no one should have to be around sexist, no one should have to be around anything. They make it harder to do all that here in America, and then they send the work to the third world. And if they can't send it to the third world, they bring the third world in here, and then you guys are all fucked. So anyway, I hope this makes sense. Again, I beat this topic to death. I'm going to go through a few more comments, guys. Again, I probably got to get out of here at some point. Let's go to the end of our stream here. I appreciate everyone hanging out today. I love all your comments. See if we got more. We got more super chats in here. So Makata16, man, I appreciate it, dude. Thanks, Makata, for being in here. I appreciate all the super chats, guys. Again, I don't make my money on YouTube, guys. I just talk about current events. I talk about business. I talk about furniture. I talk about painting, all these kind of things. We try and talk about a current event once a day, and that's what I do on the stream, you know. So if you guys appreciate that, I appreciate all the support. Okay, I appreciate your time, and I agree totally. Okay, Mikado, I appreciate it. Mikado, let us know where I forget where you tell me where you live. Are you in America? Are you in one of the states? I just kind of want to know what region of the country you're in. All right, suicidal empathy was yesterday's topic. Yeah, go back and listen to yesterday's talk about suicidal empathy, guys. We're destroying ourselves because of things like safety culture. We're destroying ourselves, you know, because again, we don't want to enforce the rule of law in this country because we don't like the idea of holding poor people accountable. We don't like the idea of holding, foreigners accountable. We don't like the idea of holding people that came in this country illegally accountable. We don't like the idea of doing all this while everything that we care about in this country is sent to the third world, right? So when we say things like, oh my God, I don't want to have dirty air and dirty water in this country, all the chemicals and all the products that we buy in America, we're just outsourcing to the third world. That's all we're doing. You know, and again, we feel great saying that we push for that shit here in America, but we outsource it all to the third. When we talk about things like, you know, climate change, right? America's not even the greatest producer of of carbon gases in the world, right? It's all the third world, you know. But again, we love to say like, oh my God, we need to curb all the climate change, you know. We got to make everything better. Meanwhile, the poor countries are trying to fucking come up. They're trying to get to what America is, and we're so virtuous. We have it so good here in America that we think that, oh God, well they need to be more like America. They need to have, you know, less coal over there. They need to have less, you know, oil over there. It's going to be good for them. It's like, no, they're just trying to come up to be where America is. We don't even realize that America is where it is because of all these things. But because we outsource it to the third world, we can then have the clean, virtuous life here in America, and it's bad news, guys. We let criminals out, right? I was talking yesterday about that woman that got killed in North Carolina, the Zakutska chick, right? Dude just fucking shanked her. That guy was arrested 20 times before he did that, right? You know, the guy that ran the car up there in Wisconsin injured 50 people. He was arrested something like 40 times before he finally got all those people killed, right? That stupid Jordan Neely guy, the guy that, you know, the media said was Michael Jackson and everyone loved him, and he fucking was basically terrorizing people on the trains there in New York. Remember Daniel Penny went there, choked him out. Again, the guy died. They tried to put that Daniel Penny guy in jail for the rest of his life for basically protecting the people on the train. That motherfucker was arrested 42 times before Daniel Penny choked him out and fucking rid us of that piece of shit, okay? Very uncomfortable conversations. People don't like to hear this kind of stuff. They don't like the idea of enforcing the rules in this country because it's so much easier just to say, well, you know what? They're poor. Oh, they're not mentally there. They had a hard upbringing. Oh, they're not from here. You know, they need to come here to send money back to their family. Where they come from is not very nice. This is suicidal empathy, guys. And it's a major problem, you know, but whatever, it is what it is. And again, I appreciate everyone hanging out this morning. Let's do a few more comments. All right, let's see. We got Titan Bruce says, not hating at all. All right, Sun says, no one cares if chat agrees, disagree, it is allowed. 0% effort posts there if you just say wrong, not allowed. All right, cool. That Asian woman who killed the entire family waiting for a bus. That Asian woman who killed the entire family. Again, I don't know about that one. Who was that? Boston's? Put that in here. Let me know who that is. I didn't see that one when I was doing my research yesterday. That Asian woman who killed the entire family waiting for a bus. Man, that sounds crazy. What's the background of that story? I'm very curious. Give me a little more information so that I can do a little bit of research on that. Because like I said, I'm very curious as to why these judges and these magistrates let these people off, right? Why did the judge who was adjudicating the arrest of Jordan Neely for the 41st time, why did he agree to let that person out? What was the mindset of that judge, you know? And when I look into all these things, what it is that it's a suicidal empathy, right? It's like all these people are poor, they have no money. The way that I see it in America is if you have money, if you have something to lose, like say you own a home, you own a business, you got stock, you have a brand or a name, you got everything to lose. So they'll come after you, they'll throw the kitchen sink at you because they can get something from you. These poor people that commit all the crime, they got nothing to take. So every time you arrest them, it costs the taxpayer money. Meanwhile, you don't get them off the streets, you don't put them in these insane asylums, you don't arrest them, throw them in jail for the rest of their lives, and save the taxpayer the bullshit of having to deal with them. They just let them go. And that's what I think it really boils down to. It's all money, guys. If you got money, they'll come after you. If you got no money, they don't give a shit. And the taxpayer pays for it either way, so the judges don't care. So it's a bad deal. So, All right, last comment. Forced to wipe. All right, great name, dude. Okay, because it's a free country, and when judges lean towards letting people be free and not taking their rights, it's a good thing. Again, this is another thing. Like, people think that, again, these poor people, they're just entitled to get away with whatever they want, and we, regular taxpaying citizens, we just have to tolerate it because we figured it out, and because they can't figure it out, we just have to tolerate it. It's bullshit, guys. I don't agree with it. But I appreciate your comment, dude. Forced to wipe. Again, I love when people disagree with me. I love when people put their point of view in here, and we can all kind of batter around. The chat gets batter around. That's what we do on the stream. If you guys like this kind of content, hit the like button, subscribe. And like I said, we do this once a day. I try to do it in the morning. Sometimes we do it in the evening, but for the most part, it's going to be early in the morning because I got to go to work because I got a real business. I got real things need to get done, and I'm sure you guys got the same thing to do. So you guys have a great week. Have a great day, and thanks for being here.